Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Okay.
Great.
That was totally underwhelming. How are we doing?
Outstanding.
Unbelievable.
All right.
Excellent.
All right. Today we have some email actionable tips. And the first one is, don't let your email dictate your priorities. If the first thing you do in the morning is grab your phone and look at your email, shame on you. You have better things to do. You know why? Email is simply someone else's urgency being put on you. Don't do that. You know, people ask me all the time, what's the best time to send an email? I'm going to give you an answer first that you probably haven't ever thought before. But the best time to send an email is when it's entertaining. Because if your emails are not entertaining, it doesn't matter what time you're sending them, people aren't reading them. Now, I did a little research, and according to Google, 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. are the best times to send emails. And then there was another one that said send them at 6 a.m. But only Scott Faber is up at 6 a.m., so don't anybody else send one at 6 a.m. Phil Singleton, will you read the slide, please?
Okay, never check email first thing in the morning. Instead, complete your most important task before 11 a.m. to avoid using lunch or reading email as a postponement excuse.
Yes.
Well,
Eat the frog first. Do your most important thing first. Don't look at email. Now, there are some businesses that run on email, and I understand you might need to check to see if a client has said something. But really, can it wait an hour? Can you do your morning ritual before you pick up the phone and look at your email? I think you can. In fact, I work with a realtor in Mesa, and he had a terrible problem with email. And so what we did was we put an autoresponder on his email that said, I've got your email. I return emails between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. If this is urgent, text me. That gave that realtor so much more time that he went from selling 2 houses a month to selling 8 houses a month, simply by reorganizing his time, not concentrating on email. And I know the endorphins go off when the email goes ding, no, I might have business. Yeah, anyway, all right. Marketing with email. 4 things that your email needs to do. Number 1, you have to interrupt or scroll. That means the subject line has to appeal to them and has to be interesting. Second part, you have to engage them to read it. If you're not engaging them, they're looking at the subject line and moving on. The third thing is educate them. In the body of the email, educate your reader on, I'm going to give you 5 questions that you need to ask them shortly. And then the fourth thing, have an offer. Now, my good friend Scott Faber, who sends millions of emails, and I disagree on this. If your emails are entertaining, people will not unsubscribe if you have an offer every day. I will repeat that again. If your email is entertaining and provides value to the reader, you can have a call to action every day. Now, Scott, he's a scaredy cat, so he only does it a couple of times every time. But that's just Scott. All right. So your email should answer 5 simple questions. And this comes from Guy Kawasaki, who was an early employee at Apple and made his chops there. And then he's been on to do a bunch of different things. The first question it needs to ask, who are you? And why are you coming into my inbox? Number 2, what do you want? If you just start telling me all about yourself, no thanks. Number 3, why are you asking me? Hello, why are you asking me? Number 4, why should I do what you're asking me? I mean, you can ask me to do a lot of things, but why should I do it? And then the 5th thing, what's next? A big problem with email is that you aren't telling your client or prospect what the next step is. So they're just kind of lost. That's why you need to have a call to action which tells them what the next step is. Lane Nesfer,
Sure.
will you read the slide, please?
Sure. It says motivation, which is something I'm a big fan of. Reaching the inbox isn't your goal. Engaging people is, according to Matt Bloomberg.
The whole goal of email is to have a conversation. It's not just to send 10,000 emails out and not get any engagement. When you understand that, and when you start writing your emails to one person and not to 500, you'll start getting more engagement. Now, there are 5 times when you should not send an email. And now, the first one really doesn't apply to the guys. Well, maybe it does. Maybe that was a sexist thing. But when you're emotional, don't send an email when you're emotional.
Oh, guys never get emotional, Dave.
No,
Jeez.
okay. Thanks, Lane. I was worried about that. What you do is you write the email when you're emotional and you put it in your drafts. Here's another secret when you're writing emails. Put the to, fill the to line last. So if you write something and you hit send by mistake, it's not sent to anybody because you haven't put who it's to. Number 2, when you should not send an email, if you have bad news to share. A phone call or Zoom might be better for that. Number 3, when the exchange is going to take more than 4 emails, if you're going to have to go back and forth, no, don't send an email. Number 4, if you're trying to resolve a conflict, don't do it over email. And number 5, when your email is too long, it's not going to get read if you have 900 words in it. In fact, most people skim emails anyway. A better way to do it is bullet points. Now, here's a bonus one when you shouldn't send email. after you had a couple drinks at lunch, don't send emails. It's kind of like drunk texting, no drunk emailing. Preston, will you read the slide, please?
Excuse me, a bad email reputation is like a hangover, hard to get rid of, and it makes everyone else hurt.
And everything else hurt, absolutely. Okay, here's the money portion of this short talk. 9-word emails. Anybody heard of 9-word emails? Okay. 9-word emails are an email that you send with this in the subject line. Are you still looking for your service? Okay, that's it. Nothing in the subject line. I'm tiring Phil out here, but you know, I'm gonna go and keep on going. Hopefully, he can stay awake for me. All you send in the subject line is, "Are you still looking to thrive with Patrick?" Or are you still looking for clean windows? Or are you still looking to talk to Funky Phil? That's it. Nothing in the subject line. Doing the 9-word email gets re-engagement with people who've ghosted you or you haven't been able to get with at about a 75% rate. But here's the trick. When they reply and say yes, don't try to sell them on the next email. They're just getting back into your world. So you have to start the conversation just as it was a new conversation. You can't say, "Oh, well, last time we talked, you said you wanted this, this, and this, and I can get it to you right away." No. They stopped replying to you for a reason. More than likely, it was about timing. And now the time is right. Is that making sense? I see faces that are totally blank or asleep. You get a head nod. Phil, are you awake? What's going on? Okay, Bruce has got it. All right. Yes, Kevin.
Dave, I thought I heard two different things, so I just want to clarify. You said no subject line, or
No,
this is the body of the email?
no, nothing in the body. Just this in the subject line.
Okay, I'm with you. Thanks.
Okay, yeah. You're not, all you're doing is just saying, "Are you still interested?" And there's several other ways to say the 9-word email. Are you still interested? Or would you like to get started? Or would you like to join us? But the trick is when they say yes, not to go into full sales mode. Not to go to like lay nest for the dude, you know, with a dog with a bone is not going to let it go.
No, actually, Dave, what I would do is I would ask them what it was that they were interested in connecting with. Are you still interested in doing business with me? My next question would be why and how. Not, no, you know, what would you like from me? And then they'll tell you what they would like from you. Then you can start the process.
I agree with the how, but don't ever ask why until they've signed on the paper. My view. But I don't have 57 years of door-to-door experience. So when it comes to selling, I defer to Lane.
Boy, Brent is on a roll today.
Yeah, that was a good one, Brent.
David, I like just about everything you said. Being the email guy as well, I just want to say that this is really helpful information because it will help me to augment what I'm already doing. And I'll try and some of your recipes and see if they taste better. But I did want to add that if you create folders for your inbox so that things get shuffled into different places, that will allow you to manage your email better. And if you create a cliffhanger for that what's next step, a lot of times they'll click here to get the rest of the story. They'll click here to get the solution or the answer to something, and that can be very powerful. You said don't send email. All those times are true. I add don't send email on a holiday, and don't send email that's business email on the weekend. And because you had once you said nothing in the subject line, and then another time it's only in the subject line, I want to clarify, if you send an email that has nothing in the subject line, you will lessen its deliverability.
Did I say that to send something with nothing in the subject
You
line?
did the first time, and then you corrected it, and then Keva asked you. So I just want to clarify, you must have something in the subject line. And I'm assuming that your signature is in the body, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I guess.
I see the
guess-
tactic with only putting something in the subject line, and it's kind of like a text message. You see really, and within the list, you see right away what that is. So I get what you're doing.
This has got to be some.
I guess you messed me up, Scott. I saw arms and no long sleeve shirt, so I didn't know what to do here. Lane, what do you got?
I just, when you're sending somebody asking them if they're still interested in doing business with you, there's an assumption made that they know what the heck the business that you're in is and how it would work. You can't just send, hey, are you interested in doing it? And I think you made the point earlier, who are you and what do you got for me? Is when I read an email, I want to know who you are and what's in it for me. What am I going to get? How do I benefit by this interaction?
The idea behind the 9-word email is to just reconnect and get engagement.
Yeah.
And if they don't remember you, you did a lousy presentation, not being memorable. Number one, but number two, and if they don't remember you and they say, "Who is this?" That's a perfect opportunity to re-engage.
David, I just want to jump in and say that I love that you started by clarifying that your email should be entertaining and engaging. And Lane has truly proven the point that if all of your email is in one personality style, you may be missing the audience. That is, Lane is obviously a driver. Get to the bottom line and tell me why, and tell me what I need to know. And some of your emails should speak to those points. But then other times you want things to be like me, flighty and fun and and then other times it's join the team because you're going to be part in one of us. And so those different personality styles need to be touched on and different points in your campaigns.
Okay, I just want to make sure I heard that right. Flighty. Flighty.
Oh my God.
That's not going to happen.
that would be that would be magical. That would be magical.
Yeah, flighty
So-
spelled with a PH, Bill. I want to see that.
Oh, my
Sounds like
gracious.
fun, yeah.
So clearly, if you send Phil an email, it needs to be maybe, I'm going to guess he's one of two types. You just need a couple of sentences that just gets the point across, tells you what you need to know, or Phil wants 5 paragraphs with every single detailed data and analysis on it. Which way do you go, Phil?
Less is more.
Less is more. Direct.
And I read of companies doing Kawasaki's thing with the five sentences or less, and they found that it cut down their email time by about 20%. and when they instituted company-wide, because do you really need to write the next War and Peace in an email? No, it's to get information quickly to somebody, and just hit the major points. I didn't plan on talking about your whole email box, Scott. That's why I didn't talk about folders or anything else. I was asked for email tips and tricks. And so that's what I had. Are there any questions about what I discussed?
Other than from me. Thank you, David. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Scott.
I want to take that, what I was just mentioning, a little bit farther. Jerice, when she emails people, she's dealing with brides, and they're in a very emotional state. So an email from Jerice to a bride would be very opposite than one going to Phil, where you just need 2 sentences. This is what needs to be done. With the bride, oh my gosh, are you getting so excited? This is going to be a beautiful day. You have to, for that personality type, if you forget the pleasantries first, you come off as rude.
So you do have to know your audience then, right, Ray?
You
Russ?
do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. It's not
Thank
so
you,
much.
Rose. That is correct. I can't be as short and sweet as Phil can be.
I thought I
If
was
you
the
guys
short,
get a
sweet one.
long email from me at any time, it must be spam because I did not write it.
Okay. I just want to clarify. Jerice, did you say that Phil was short and that he was sweet?
She mistook that for me.
I did say that yeah. But I haven't stood next to him, so I don't know.
Thank you, Jerice. It's
You're
all
welcome.
good.
Thank you, Mr. David Hepburn Jr., for sharing your email tips and tricks. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I heard there was a recession going on. I decided not to participate.
Excellent.
Keba.
Dave, I have a newsletter that used to go out on Sunday nights, and I found that there was pretty good response, but I'm, as you know, rebooting my business after a couple of years of, oh my God. And I'm trying to decide whether the email rules may apply to sending this newsletter. And the newsletter is only, it's a couple pops of information and an article and a beautiful inspirational photo. It's nothing long and laborious. When do you think I should send it out?
Sunday evening is a good thing, so it's in their mailbox first thing Monday. One thing though, and this applies for everybody, if you're sending a weekly email or something, Jerice, what are we not calling it?
Newsletter.
We are not calling it a newsletter. We need to
Yeah.
come up with some fun, fabulous, insightful word to cover newsletter.
Like,
Insights.
what's yours, Jerice?
Well, I'm narrowing it down from insights, secrets, knowledge, or thoughts.
Okay, and see, Phil has financial freedom from Funky Phil or something like that, and that's all PH.
I want to make a comment that goes back to Keva's original question about the timing of the email. And David, you said only send emails during business hours, but that may be the right rule for B2B. But if Keva's sending an email to somebody that is using their personal time to enjoy the insights, then sending it on a Sunday evening is for that audience might be a different set of rules.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Scott said only send emails during business hours.
For
Thank you for correcting
B2B,
me.
for B2B. But for what Keva's doing, it's social, it's calming, it's welcomed. And for all of those reasons, Sunday is really good. But I might suggest Sunday morning, because just because you send something at a particular day and time does not necessarily mean that that is when they're going to receive it or when they're going to read it.
Right.
And so if you want them to receive it Sunday, like after church or after the day before the new week begins, then maybe earlier Sunday is a better idea. But again, know your audience, and then make those choices.
Thanks, Scott.
No, thank you.
This has been a really good subject. Thank you.